guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video, we are silaging. 2023 silage is well on the way at this stage. JF900 is on, you can see it there behind. And yeah, going to get down here and get some grass lifted. Actually, we're down yesterday evening and we lifted 12 acres. So it's put a good hole in it. I didn't really take much footage or any. I took a little bit of footage on the 360 camera, but I didn't take any footage with the GoPro or drone. So we're going to change that today. We're going to have a look and see how we get on. No issues yesterday. Everything went okay. Well, actually, there was a small issue. We had a shear bolt go in the bottom feed roller on the harvester. It was just we've never ever even had to change a shear bolt in it. So yeah, it was just lifting a very small row of grass, and the bottom roller stopped working. So I would say that it was more down to it wasn't really heavy crop of grass over in that field anyway, so it's not like the harvester was under much pressure, but I'd say it was just more that the shear bolt had a bit of wear on it and then just snapped, which happens regularly enough. But anyway, so go down here, we'll set up the camera, we're going to get some shots, we'll vlog how we're getting on over the day, and hopefully try and get a bit of drone footage. It's not going to be simple because there's going to be plenty of pressure on today. Heavy field of grass that we're going into now. This is the heavy crop first, and yeah, not going to be much time because there's 3 tractors drawn for me, so getting the drone up could be problematic, but we will see. We're just coming out up the field now, so I'll put the camera down, get set up, and we'll get a bit of footage. By God, they are big rows. They're just on the limit of what a JF900 can handle. In fact, they're just coming back to the field, so I better jump in and just get ready to rock. Alright, so we're getting on fairly well. We've got just over halfway through this field. The rows of grass, are pretty big, but yeah, it's handling them alright. Just mindful not to overdo it with the tractor, not to push it too much. Constantly watching the little power bar here to just see how much of the tractor's power is being used, because if it's full all the time then we need to notch it back a little bit on the speed. But yeah, we're just keeping it there. It's dangling in around half a lot of the time, and just up and down depending on the likes of that, a lump going through it. Right, you just have to watch that all the time rather than being on the camera. But yeah, but no, we're getting on okay. We're making good progress. There's 3 trailers drawn from me. They're able to keep me going all the time, which is great. Even though a little break every now and again would be great to just get out and stretch the legs, but that just doesn't seem to be coming at the minute. But yeah, watch going in and out at the end in case there's any lumps. Well, once you get it fed in, it should be no problem. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I've turned off the power boost, so that's keeping some of the horsepower off the tractor, and I've also minimised the revs to not being able to go over 1,000 or 1750. So all little things might make no difference. You can pull a lump in and rack the harvester in a minute. The only thing is the 1,000 economy does seem to be helping to helping to die the tractor a little bit. Took a lump in earlier on and actually stopped the tractor. So the fact that you're going with those less revs and the reduced horsepower, I don't think it, and look, I shouldn't say this, but I don't think it's not going to be too hard on the harvester. So yeah, walking away nicely, getting on well. Drone footage could be a no-no today. I'll see how it goes. Alright, so field number 2 is done and dusted, heading on now to field number 3, and this is the smallest field of the 3 that we have to do.
That's your lights on the field. Ooh, what is that?
Alright, so we are finished. Done and dusted. Nicely lifted. And a great time. Sunny, we started like at around 4 o'clock yesterday. And it's like 3:30 now. So, great time. I didn't expect, I actually thought we might have been another, we thought it would have been around 6 o'clock maybe by the time we get finished. So, great to be finished a bit early. Yeah. Back to the yard. Let's see how things is going there, how the pit's shaping up. Alright, so it's the next morning. Got finished up like yesterday evening around 3:30. Went down with a cup of tea, bit of a relaxation time, and come back up, done the feeding, and we didn't finish anything more at the pit. So there's still one load of grass to be pushed up. Bit of levelling to do. You can see there's a few holes here along the side, and yeah, the whole pit then needs tramped. Or roll, as some people call it as well. And we also, there's a little bit of tidying just to do at the front, so we'll do that, some of that now, and get it ready. We're not covering it on tomorrow because you can probably see or hear with the wind there in the trees, or even on the mic, it's very, very windy, so we'll be pulling sheets over it at the minute. It just wouldn't be simple. The sheets would be going all over the place, so it might be a bit less windy tomorrow. So what we're going to do is now we're going to get the teleporter out. We're going to stick the fork on here, or the rake, and we'll start to push up a little bit of grass, whatever bit's left, and do a bit of tidying on it. And I'll maybe try and get a wee bit of footage of it as I'm doing it, and yeah, see how we get on. Okay, so here you're seeing it, the sum total of all the drone footage of the tractor and harvester that I got over the silage cutting. But we'll get some footage. Could be later in the year, but we'll get some drone footage. Yeah, so I'm just going to fly the drone into position now, just to try and get it sitting somewhere that I can get a couple of shots of me putting up this load of silage. But I also have a camera set up on the telehandler. This is my new, well, it's not new, I haven't just used it that much. It's a 360 camera, one of those Insta 360s. So you'll see me, you can mount it, and then you can, it takes footage 360 degrees, so everything right round it can see, both top and bottom. So it can look straight up in the sky, it can look right down to the ground, as well as twisting right around. I could look back at me in the cab, I could look out at the other side of the wall. You can just look every direction. It takes all the footage, and then whilst editing you can decide what you want to look at. It's a hell of a job. I really like it. I haven't used it that much. I suppose I have it a couple of 3 months, but I might have used it back when I had the Ford Ranger. I took a wee bit of footage with it then, but I haven't really used it. But what I wanted it for was the likes of these jobs, you know, when you're at Silage or Slurry, or you know, if you want to mount it somewhere and get some really good shots from different angles. I think it'll be a great job. And the fact that you can move it as you're recording what you're seeing in post-production. You know, you'll see me there, I could be looking at something and I could just twist around and look at something else. Then it just opens up lots of possibilities. But anyway, back to the pit. Putting in the grass. Probably should have put this bit of grass in yesterday. I think I do probably repeat myself here, because I think I say that later on in this video. It was starting to hot up, as you can see. It's been there like 12 hours, but it was starting to the start of the fermentation process. Doesn't take too long till it starts to kick in, and it was kicking in. You can see there, it's the steam leaving it. The other thing you notice here is the wind. Look at the trees; they are blowing. It's blowing a gale, so it is. I know this video is speeded up. The drone footage is speeded up like to twice the speed, but that's still not that fast. You know, it's only just doubled up the speed slightly. So, but you can see the trees are fairly blown away there. So glad we're not covering the pit. As I think I mentioned that already. Glad we're not covering the pit today, because it would have been a lot of fun, I'll have to say. A good view then of that square at the back of the pit now, the new square. And it just kind of gives you an idea of just how much grass that does hold. You know, it probably holds about a third of what the old pit would hold, if you like. So yeah, good job. So you'll see here's the 360 camera now. I'm just looking out to one side as well. Putting in a bit of grass. Do I move it forward? Do I move it around? I can't remember. But I think there's a couple of bits of 360 footage. Telehandler itself was flawless during the putting in the silage. I'll tell you what's made a huge difference to it since we put it on. I think we put it on between the first and second cut last year. We put on an oil cooler with a switch on it that we had to mount it, and it has made a huge difference to it. John Deere hadn't got a great cooling system on the oil, so if you're working it hard at the likes of silage or busting grain or loading dung or any some of these jobs, the oil would start to overheat in it because the cooling system wasn't sufficient. But this fan we've put in has just transformed the machine now. You can work it as hard as you want it, and no issues now with the oil getting hot in it. Should have been on it for new. Something like that should have been on it for new. Should be on all machines really, where you should have extra cooling like that. But yeah, great job. Tell you what I need for one. If anyone knows where, and they're not easily got, anyone knows where there's a joystick for one, I could do with the actual casing of the joystick. There's a little crack has come on mine. It's actually working fine. Nothing to stop working on it. But a little crack has come on mine, and I'd like to get one of the outer covers just to replace it. But other than that, no issues whatsoever. Okay, so we're just rolling the pit now at the minute. It is a little bit steep here at the front, so we'll see how we come down off it. Oh, we're a little sideways. We're not too bad. Yeah, so roll the pit. If you can see, it is levelling out now quite nicely. Just went around and fill the holes with bits of grass here and there, and I'll just give it a run over the whole way right across it. and I might do the same again in the morning just before we pull the cover over it. We probably should have put in that load of grass last night, because you've probably seen when I was scooped into it, it was starting to heat in the bottom of it, so there was a bit of steam leaving it, and it's just started to turn colour already. So yeah, you can see some of the wee bits here and there that's just starting to go the brown colour. Just to show you where the old pit wall was in line with the shed here. So it was back about 2.5 foot. This side of the end of the shed was where the pit started, and yeah, right the whole way down obviously. But if you look then, the back side of that, right the whole way across here, that's all that's the extra capacity. If what's in there was back this side of the old wall, the pit would be out to the channel at the front of the shed, and it would be up the height of the shed or very close to it. So yeah, it's given us a lot of extra capacity. Like, one of the main reasons why we wanted it was none of us are getting any younger, and it wasn't simple or easy to build the silage up that height. You know, you needed at least one man on the pit building at the walls of it, or building the silage wall up to get it heaped up when you had a good pit of silage. And to get somebody to do that, it's not simple, and none of us are getting any younger, so we wanted to have that extra capacity that we could put our silage in comfortably inside the walls and to be able to cover it easily. So that is the main reason why we wanted it. So yeah, it's going to allow us to do that. Yeah, but it's leveling out very, very nice. Just that 10 minutes you spend around filling the holes makes all the difference. So we get it rolled, and we'll have a wee look at it at the end to see how it looks. Alright, there's no clicking the fingers or before and after shots. This is it, we're just going to cover today. So you've seen we got it all rolled out yesterday. I rolled it, just made a nice level job of it, and left it ready for putting the cover on today. We've been tidying just around the front of it with grapes up along the two sides. We spent probably about half an hour, myself and Dad just straightening it out, and then Matt come as well. There was 3 of us who done the job. Usually have a few extras, but for one reason or another we were down to 3, and it wasn't a simple job. Now, it was warm enough today, and you miss a bit of help at these kind of jobs, because you have an extra couple of hands putting on tyres and bags and stuff like that. Job seems to go a lot faster. So yeah, it is what it is, but we got it done. Matt was a great help, as always, and made a good job of it. We put lorry tyres here along the front. There's five rows of those, and all small tyres. It took a lot of small tyres. Took most of the small tyres actually that we have, because it is quite wide. A lot of the times when you go higher with it, it narrows in when you're building it, but because it's the full width of the pit, it takes a lot of tyres. But it's a good job. It's a good job. We have sandbags right the whole way right round to here, and the bottom with just the lorry tyres keep it pushed down. We used to always put sandbags along the front, but we haven't for the last number of years. Find that if you put the lorry tyres in, it seems to seal 100%. Never any issues with it going bad at the front, usually anyway. Yeah, so JF's just parked here, plenty of space, which is great. That's what we were just saying earlier. The 22 foot, I think it is, that we have at the back, and the fact that it's wider, if you brought that forward, we'd be out to the usual spot. So yeah, the space is great. There's loads of space now for when we do strip the pit down and put the second cut in. We don't intend to go much above the walls, but we can come on out with it, and we intend to maybe not take it out as far as we usually used to, but we'll build it on up. It'll be more or less hopefully the height of the walls, and then drop down. Then as we get out, say, to the harvest, it'll start to drop down and slope down. So yeah, good job. Glad to have it in. Absolutely fantastic conditions. One of the best years, I'd say, for getting grass in dry. You know, when you grab it, when the first load they come in, I just took a handful of it and give it a squeeze. The grass is stuck to my hands. There's that much sugar on it, so it should make fantastic stuff. So yeah, Silage 2023 is up and running. The first cut's done for now. Second cut about 8-9 weeks time, hopefully, depending on weather and what happens. And hay 2023 has actually started because we dropped 9 acres earlier on, and I'm going to cut another 4.5 acres in the morning. So it's good for the next week or 10 days. I'm going to drop some of it. If we can get that 13 acres or 14 acres done and dusted out of the way, it'll be a great start of that done and dusted this early in June. Some of the rest of it has to grow, it's not ready, so yeah. Lucky enough, we had got some that is ready, and we'll hopefully get it made. Probably about, we'd be aiming in about a week's time. We'll see how it works out. So that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed the silage making video. There was no drone footage. I'm disappointed there was no drone footage, but there just was not time. I needed somebody to fly the drone separately from me. I couldn't do the two at the one time this year because you're constantly watching the harvest. I'm making sure it wasn't going to block, and I couldn't do both. Just couldn't do both. But we'll see. Maybe for second cut it mightn't be just as hectic. Maybe Ben might be here. Ben can fly the drone, or maybe I'd have to train in my sister Laura or something to try to fly the drone. We'll work something out, and we have some drone footage in the second cut. So that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or comments to make. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Take care.